All right. Um, Good evening once again to everyone, and you are welcome to another episode of Ask Me Anything. Ask Me Anything. My name is Maxwell Amponsa, and I'm the head of media for Hyperspace. And today we have our CEO here, Eden Brefo, to share with us his experience on networking and connecting with people and other entrepreneurs in the ecosystem. So I know most of you know that he is the CEO of Hyperspace, but I would like him to, introduce, tell us something brief about himself. Maybe there are some things we might not know about him, so I'll let him to say something small on that too. So, sir, over to you.
All right, good evening, everybody. I think for those who are here, I'm connected with all of them, but I mean, for the sake of whoever might listen later via Facebook, the full name is Gideon Brefo, and I'm a co-founder both for Hyperspace Innovation Hub and Hyperwork Solutions. I think one thing that some people might not know was that my co-founder has been a friend since 1994, since we met in the pursuit and so I'm passionate about technology and also spend time to support those who are pursuing innovative ideas and also involved in a number of trainings with British Council. So that's who I am in a brief.
Okay. You said you and Albert were friends 1996, right?
Yeah.
At that
Yes.
time, I didn't know where I was. That's a long time. Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm happy to be hosting this event today because that's something we are all looking at, and then how to network, how we can connect with people, and also get to have more friends in our field. Yes, so I'm very happy. But before we start, if any one of you have any questions that you also want to ask about the team, you can raise your hands or you can type it in the comment section so that we get it answered for you here. So to start, say on April 19th or so, Tech in Ghana posted something on saying that you said through Tech in Ghana, you were able to connect with one lady called Eunice to make some connections and get to be part of the African EU consortium. And with that, can you tell us your understanding or your idea about networking and connecting for us?
Okay. Yeah, so that's a good one. Networking is very essential in the journey of every entrepreneur, or something that you can overlook. And in the past, the mantra had been that it is about whom you know, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we said, oh, this person, you know so many people and so forth. But of late, we have come to realize that it's not a matter of whom you know, but as they say in Ghana here, it's also about who knows you. Because you can know me, but I don't know you. And so I
Yeah.
might not be able to provide any support for you. And I think that that's a powerful thought and something that is um, changing the mindset of people concerning how they get to connect with people, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, if you go to an event, right, and there are so many people, dignitaries, people of influence there, what many people are accustomed to doing is just going around and asking, can I get your card? Can I get your card? So, when they walk out of that event with a stack of, say, 50, 100 cards, that seemed to them to be like gold, right? Because then they have connection on their mind to all these number of people. But the truth is that after giving you the card and the person walking away, probably you are out of the person's mind. The person no longer remembers who you are. And so later, if you try to connect with such a person, it takes the person time to kind of recall who you are, how you even met, what you discussed. Can the person even anticipate why you are trying to connect, and in what capacity he or she can be of benefit to you? And so that's important, that we do not just go in and collect cards. So you were talking about the Tech in Ghana connection, right?
Yeah.
But I will even step back one more, how I even got connected with Akusi Anodo. So it's someone that said that, oh, okay, there is a lady in town who is a brand expert. And at that time, I was a chairman of the Ghana House Network and have some interest in connecting with the innovation space. So um, I need to talk to her. Now, it could have been one of those things where you talk about business and then you move on, right? But then, this was the icebreaker for me. After we had spoken, it was like, okay, when can we catch up over coffee? Right. And I saw that that's where the difference is. If you meet somebody amongst a group of people, right, you do not really get to connect. You get to meet.
Okay.
Right? But the connection comes when you are able to sit down one-on-one with the person. The initial ones can even be as short as 5 minutes. So this is what happens. Coming back to the meeting with Akufia. So we meet, and then it is not only about business, it's about, okay, what are your aspirations? How did you even become an entrepreneur? When you were starting, what were the challenges? Who was with you? And so all those stories. And then we saw areas in those stories where she also connects, she identifies with them. All right. And so at that moment, we had connected because there's something she knew about me at that time. There's something I knew about her at that time that we can always talk about when we meet. Or should I meet anything relating to what I now knew about her that will bring her to mind? And so that is how even Akusia started throwing in opportunities. Okay. And then asked me, well, the Tech in Ghana conference that we did in Ghana, I'm hosting the same thing in UK. Are you able to come? I'm like, even at that time when you'll be hosting that, I would already be in London. Well, then come on as a speaker. But at that time, I couldn't go in as a speaker because I was in Scotland and couldn't travel to Central London. So I made Albert, my co-founder, go for that event and represented me. And so then Akusia introduced him to Eunice, right? who is originally from Uganda, but now lives in the UK. And so Albert tells Eunice that, oh, my friend Gideon was supposed to have come. In fact, he's the one that you would have met, but he's in Scotland and couldn't come to central London at this point. I'm like, oh, when is he coming to London? If he comes, tell him to let me know so that we can catch up over coffee. So that coffee thing, I began to realize that was very important.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the accounts even have a saying that at the point where somebody will dine with you from the same pot, then you are close friends. Or if it is a deal that you are trying to get from that person, the deal is yours.
Yeah. So
And
I have some few things. So as you are saying, we don't only connect with people when we just meet them in the first day. Okay, that's where we make connections. But when you meet someone, you introduce yourself, and then you take, and not just to take the person's card or contact, but after you get the contact or the card, you go ahead to reach out to the person and get time to meet, and then through that you can share your aspirations and other opinions. That's where the connection starts, right?
yes,
Yeah.
that's where you begin to build a relationship. And so for me, for some time now, I've stopped asking for cards.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes there are people that will give you their cards, but even just when you give me a card, I will save the number and either connect with you on WhatsApp or LinkedIn. And this is what I do. Usually, people find it difficult to recall names, right? Or associate faces with names. And so I have also come to realize that I need to make it easier for them. So now, either I take a picture with a person at the first time of meeting, and as soon as I connect with a person on WhatsApp or on LinkedIn, I share a story with that picture. So that picture becomes a memory aid, and the person can, at any point in time, refer to it and get to know that, oh, this is the Gideon who is contacting.
Yeah. There is a hand up. Prince, if you can go ahead and ask your question so we move on.
Yeah, Mr. Brefo, thank you very much. I think I'm learning a lot from just the two questions you've already asked. My first question has to do with his relation with Mr. Albert, Mr. Opoku, Albert Opoku. I want to ask, what has really kept the two of you together from that time? Please, can you hear me?
Yes. We can hear you. That's an interesting question.
Yeah, what has really kept you? I understand there is this church there, but I just want to know, how have you guys been able to sustain this relation from that time up to now? I don't know if there is any fight or anything, agreement or anything, but how have you been able to sustain that? And then my second question has to do with, whenever you go for a program and then this thing you are talking about as to getting contacts, giving out contacts, I just want to find out, there are instances the person you want to meet is in a higher authority. Let's say, for instance, I've just completed school, I'm a graduate, and then I'm meeting someone who is in a high profile personality. One thing we just want to do is just take pictures and then maybe take the contact, and that is it. I want to find out, how do you reach out just within that 1 minute, 2 minutes, just to ask for, let's say, mentorship, or just to know more about the person within that few minutes? How do you approach that for someone who is younger and meeting someone in a high position?
Right. That's good. They are very good questions. Let me start with the first one. And Josephine, I've seen your questions. I'll answer them. with Albert, and he is also Yaupoku, so your namesake.
Yeah.
Um, I think that one thing that has kept us going is none of us being selfish, right? You spoke about disagreements. There are a number of times that we have disagreed on opinions, but I think that what has kept us together, even in those disagreements, is that if, for instance, I disagree, it is not a matter of making him feel that I know better than him, right? It is about presenting the facts why I think that how he is seeing matters is not the best way of looking at things. And so usually we'll have a conversation, and sometimes if the other person is still not convinced, we might sit down and write the pros and cons of the two, right? Differing ideas. And whatever view at that time have more positives or less devastating negatives, we take that. But after taking that, whether it's coming from me or coming from him, we all passionately support that until there's an outcome. And if the outcome is good, we all sit and find solutions. So I'll tell you a story. Once we were selected to be part of UT, that is the bank that was collapsed, UT Bank, and then Enablers, right? They organized a business plan competition, and we got a chance to participate. And at that time, Albert was the one that went for it. And then when he was back, I was like, this thing that these people are doing, you think that is a smart way of making money. We analyzed it and it was true, because when you apply, you pay, right? So this was our idea. At that time, if you apply to be part of it, I think you were supposed to pay 300 Ghana cedis or so. And if we had about 1,000 people applying, that becomes 300,000 Ghana cedis, right? And we can promise that we will give people, the first 5 people, some money. We did all our calculations, and then we also got into it. Unfortunately, we did not analyze to see that, okay, UT had the cloud and is recognized and can take money from people, right? Without people fearing that they are going to dupe them. And nobody knew us. And it was at a time where internet fraud was very common. So we started that, we rolled it out. We got a few people to apply, and then the trouble started. People started calling, asking or demanding for our credibility, for taking money from people, blah, 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 blah. And then I got a threatening call from somebody who claimed to be calling from national security and so forth, right? So even though it was Albert's initiative, I needed to support him so that we go through it. So we sat down throughout the night. We didn't go home. The office going back to the drawing board. What can we do then? And so, okay, at the end of the day, we took the decision that we'll select 5 out of the few people that had contributed, run some online training for them, and then we ourselves will find money elsewhere and then award them the prize. so that female concern that was growing would die out. And so I supported him. We all got into our accounts, brought out monies, we gave the prices to the people, and that was done. But that was not going to separate us. We came together and fought against whatever brand damage could have come to Upper Work at that time. And then we proceed. So yes, if you're asking about disagreements, we sometimes get disagreements, but I think that the major problem with relationships that do not last is about how they resolve issues. If everybody feels so important and it's so selfish to think that he or she is always right, then there will always be problems. Okay. But other than that, if you're all genuine and are really concerned about getting things solved, no problem is really a problem. They are all kind of hurdles that you see and you know you can jump over it. It might slow down your pace in development, but you definitely overcome it. Now, the second one, quickly, you asked about how if probably somebody who is not recognized go to an event, meet somebody of higher authority, and how do you connect? A number of ways, but these are things that are found to be very useful. You know, sometimes before you go for the event, those dignitaries, those people of influence, the people with powerful connections that will come there, they are usually publicized, right? And so you can take your time to look them up online, check their profiles, check their interests, so that when you meet them, talk about something that interests them. That is the best way of breaking the ice. Because even you yourself, sometimes you might not be in the mood of talking, but if somebody brings up issues that you are so passionate about, sometimes you even wonder, hey, how did I get so heated up with this conversation? But you find yourself so deep into that conversation. So that's how it is. Find something that definitely interests the person. Use that to begin the conversation. And it will be very easy. And then also don't go in always presenting yourself as somebody who is there to take from the person. Like for you, you are the only one to win. No. Also go in with a view of what can I also give? And so there are some situations where I have just come up with just that simple statement. Oh, I'm Gideon Breffel, blah, 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 and so forth. I work with this, we have some experience in this. So in case there's any way I can support what you do, let me know. And the person can, oh, okay, I've been thinking about doing this. Can you do this to her? Blah, 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 blah. That can be the start of the conversation. To also find ways of giving. And we have an example that helped us to start Hyperspace, right? We had met Estelle, who then used to be the country director for Google. And she said that, okay, you guys are developing this fantastic idea. We're saying that we're developing a platform that can enable MSMEs to just put some pages online to boost their online presence. And she said that Google is coming up with something similar. And so we either join the wagon or they crash us. And she was like, well, we don't have money to pay you, but if you want to assist, you are welcome. We thought about it and were like, okay, it would be sexy to think of supporting or partnering with Google on a project. So let's do it. We traveled a number of times from Kumasi to Accra just to support them with events. And that project was, I think, Africa Get Your Business Online. That was a project at the time. And so we supported it fully. Guess what? 6 months down the line, we got an email from Estelle saying, hey, guys, you know what? I think there's something that I can now do for you.
Mhm.
Google wants a partner in Ghana that can support 30 senior high schools and all the universities to deploy Google Apps for Education at that time, how they call it, and so forth. So let me connect you with the one in charge. And that's how we got the money to start Hyperspace. Hands down, sure. We didn't seek for funding from anyone to start Hyperspace the way we did. Okay. So that provided an opportunity because you made a fair sacrifice. And so, Poku, I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Sure. So
Yeah.
then, as say you are saying, as he asked that, how do you like pitch yourself to the people who you connect with? So the next challenging question would be, how do people also approach this kind of event and trainings to connect? Because there are a lot of people who will not know how to, go to certain event or certain meetings. So how can they also approach certain events and then be able to start connecting?
Okay. There's one gentleman in South Africa. He said that get on the train, get on the bus, get on the motorbike, get on the car, get on the flight, just attend that event. So now there are events being advertised on Eventbrite, VC for Africa, and many other online platforms like that. Take your time to browse them. Check the profiles of those events. Only attend events that will be of use to you. It's not just about traveling and attending events, but who's coming? Will I learn something from it? Will I be able to connect with somebody that we can share a mutual benefit with? Things of that sort. So you need to always be on the lookout. And for me, I have also connected with individuals that are aware of events that will benefit me. And so they pass it on. And to reciprocate that, anytime I also find an event that I feel is of use to them, I share. And so that's also another way of learning about events that one can attend.
That's very good one. There is a hand up. Erica, can you unmute yourself and ask your question? And then we come to those who answered their question in the chat box. Yes, Erica.
Okay, good evening. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Mr. Brefo, you were talking about sacrificing and later it was able to result to a better thing. What about if you sacrifice, your inputs have been taken, the project is going on, but yes, so you have not been acknowledged? What do you do?
Well, that's a good one. And sometimes that's the reason why most people give up. Like me, I'm not going to do this again. I'm not going to sacrifice for anyone again, ever in my life. But while that is painful, you must accept that not everybody is going to be grateful, right? If you read the Bible, remember that when Jesus healed the 10 lepers, how many people came back to say thank you?
Only one.
Only one. So you should have in mind that for every 10 good acts you do, only one will come back and appreciate what you did. And that one might be all you need. So my mantra is that do not focus on what you can get out of it. If you are so much consumed with I'm supporting these people so that they might also do something for me in return, that's when you get disappointed. Just have an open heart. As long as you have the time and the capacity to support, really support, right? I'm sure that there are times that some of the things that come your way, it will strictly be for business. That is different. But both those that you just want to sacrifice to support, just don't look for any returns. But the returns will come when it comes. And remember that out of the 10, only one will bear fruit.
Mr. Brefo, it's not about me looking for returns. At the initial stage, it was something like it's not visible. And even if something my lecturer rejected, he didn't allow me to write my project on it. And he made me change my topic. But I sent him for one of our programs and he realized it was something which was realistic. And that time, no, I've gone far. I've even graduated. You can't do anything about it. And now the thing has been successful is that it has been launched nationwide. But since they are not, I'm not more involved. And that kind of passion and trend they need for that thing to be successful is there. So now it's hanging. Meanwhile, it's supposed to go in a speed. And it seems somebody is rather like, I brought it.
Sabotaging.
Like the person is owning it. Meanwhile, the person knows for sure he or she is not owning it. But the person will come to me if there is any problem to ask of my view, and I will freely give. That is the
problem. Yeah, I can appreciate that. It is tough, right? Dealing with people can be very tough. But that's why now we talk about intellectual properties and all that. Okay, so you need to protect your ideas. If you don't protect your ideas, then these things are bound to happen. So make sure that if you have any scalable idea and you start off, and especially when you want to bring people in, then you need to definitely think about the legalities involved and the paperwork. That's the only way you can protect, because your idea, or let me say your scalable idea, is your asset. And so you should work to protect it. But usually we ignore it until it becomes a problem. And so if really the idea belongs to you and they had to come in later, then please, you can go back to the drawing board. The paperwork can be done anytime before it becomes too difficult. Sit down with them. If you need to go in for an intellectual property registration for that idea, do it. And that will protect you.
Right. So we have a hand up. Mrs. Krampa has also raised her hands. Ma, if you can unmute yourself and ask your question. I saw your question, but you've raised your hands.
Mama Supremo.
Yes. Why are you addressing me as Mrs. Krampa when you are calling everybody by their name?
I was even shocked.
Well, my question is there, which you will answer, but I just want to encourage everybody on the platform today that one of the best networking in Ghana that you can ever get linked to is Hyperspace. And trust me, I am a living testimony. Just one single event at Hyperspace put me on a level that I never ever imagined it would be. Because some of the networking events comes just like what we are doing now. You get to see people, you get to meet people, both online and physically. And I encourage everybody to be there doing the programs that requires you to be physically there, because you may not know who we will meet. And like I said, I have met people that I never knew that I would meet them, but it was all through the networking events that is at Hyperspace. So tell your friends, tell everybody that from the Mama Supremo myself, I said the best network in the whole Ghana is Hyperspace. Thank you.
Yeah.
Now we are verified. We are verified.
Yes.
And Rita, thank you for sharing that. I was even telling Albert that we need to come and see you, and that's one of the things we're going to discuss, because we were in London last 2 weeks, and it's summer, and so everywhere you pass in the evening, people are even standing outside, right? No chairs, just with their drinks and connecting and chatting every corner. And we got to one space and they said they had run for 48 good years. And you know what happens at that space? Connection. And so people just walk in, sit down, get some food, just talk to anybody you meet there. And they say all the groundbreaking innovations, they have had their roots from that space.
Wow.
So yes, it's good to make the conscious effort to be at places where you meet the people that can support your dreams.
Yeah. Sure. Then she asked that do all networking ends well? Does it end successfully?
No. Remember, it's human relations.
Yeah.
Not every relationship will thrive. There will be hitches. And of course, there are people that you, in the beginning, might have thought that this is going to be a good relationship for you, but you enter and realize that this is not it for me, or the other person may realize that you are not a good force for what he or she wants to do. So yes, not all the networks is going to work out, no. But the point is that they say it takes two to tango, right?
Mm-hmm.
So whether that connection is going to be any meaningful one or not depends on the effort from both sides. And sometimes, just like Prince asked earlier, if you have to deal with people of higher influence, okay, you are the one that has more to gain from them, even though, yes, typically they might also need you at some point. But since you are the one that probably wants something more, from the relationship. You need to learn how to grow the relationship. Remember that I said that when you go to an event where you take numbers or take cards and emails and so forth, it's just the first point, right? But when you have coffee, when you have a drink, when you eat together, when you're able to go to the person's office, that's when you begin to substantiate the relationship. You begin to connect. Right? So you need to find ways of growing it. So it is not only about the next one coffee meeting, but beyond that coffee meeting, when next are you meeting? When next are you talking? What next can you do to support that person? So there should be room for growth, and you can only keep growing. Otherwise, it will die off.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's a good one. There is also one question here from Josephine. She says, how do you break through with people who are hostile after being nice to you only during the first meeting?
It's bound to happen. We just have to keep that in mind. Remember that people have different emotional needs, right? And there are people that when they get into certain elements, they are not nice. So you might just meet the person when the person is in the wrong element. And so do not take it personal. Do not take it personal. Remember that this is a professional relationship. It's not like your brother, your sister, your wife, your mother, that you go home and meet the person again. And so don't take hostility personal, right? Just understand that the person might not have been in the right frame of mind at that point. Or probably the way you even interpreted what happened or what was said is different from the reality. Sometimes we are really the problem itself. We are the ones unnecessarily stretching matters and making some interpretations that are not true. So that's also another thing that we need to take note of. But whatever it is, don't take it personal. Just allow time for growth.
Right. Yeah. So let's move on to the next one on online platforms. How can people, individuals, or even entrepreneurs expand their network through online? As now we know that we are in the digital world now. How can we leverage on online platforms to also get to connect with people and find more connections?
Yeah, sometimes the
And before you answer, as Mama Supremo was saying, Campus Space is the best place to get connection. We have a platform that's called the KEC platform, and it's all contain a lot of entrepreneurs, and that platform is always active. Even at 2 a.m., people are still chatting. And so you're looking at the connections there. How can people really leverage on that and make more connections?
Yeah, trust me, there are people on KEC that are not leveraging their resources, the influences, the opportunities on KEC, right? So you might even be in the right group. But remember that They say that you can even take the horse to the river, but you can't force the horse to drink water. So you need to make an effort to take advantage of the network you have. See the opportunities to collaborate, see the opportunities to support others. That is the only time that you can be deemed relevant. Okay. So for instance, have you realized that even on the KEC platform, there are some category of people that people review, like when they make a statement, people take it serious. I don't know if you realize that.
Yes.
Is the value that they have communicated to all of us. What value are you bringing to the table, even within a network? That is very important. And you might realize that the more you keep supporting others and showing that you have certain skill set and talent to provide, the more you are on top of people's mind when they need to recommend people for certain projects. But if you are silent on a group or in a network, they won't even remember that you are there.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to be relevant even in your network. Okay, so in what if even if the bilateral connection, you need to show yourself relevant to the other person. Okay. And that's when the person will appreciate you and will want to also continue to grow that relationship with you.
Good.
And in terms of online, it is not about having more followers, but it is about getting more relevant followers. There are people that when somebody even see as part of your friends list, they'll cut you off. That's something that most people are not aware of. We need to even be careful of who you accept as friend online. LinkedIn, Facebook, anywhere. To build relevant connections. And make sure that for those that you want to partner with, collaborate with, you look at their trends and look at what their interests are. And sometimes you can also provide such comments on the things that they even post. Make meaningful comments on the things that you share. Or share something that you know is relevant to them and tag them. They'll keep the connection they have with you.
Yeah, it's good to stay relevant with your social media and also the platforms that you find yourself in. Yes. So I have this question. Someone asked me some time back that um, he is an introvert, and then how can he, or even how can any introvert, or even there are some entrepreneurs who are also introverts. What can you like advise them on how they can also make connections? Because it's like people who are extrovert, they are the ones who go in and they be talking and then blah blah blah. But some people, they feel going out is even a challenge for them. So what can you tell them, or what advice would you give to such people?
This one there, I think the best person will be Rita. Rita, are you still here? Probably
Yes,
Rita
I'm
can
here.
share some. Probably you can share some thoughts on that question.
The first thing is, it's good you have realized you have a problem, that you are an introvert. But we all have 50-50. Everybody is one time an introvert and at another time an extrovert. So what you have to do is to make the first move. Anytime you hear any networking event, just boldly go there. Go there and make sure you ask just a question. When the panel finishes, or when the speaker finishes, find a question, a very relevant question, and ask. The next time you go to another event, you do them gradually, you realize that you'll be getting out of that shyness into boldness. And then you take the next step to start talking to people. Another thing I did personally was to show up early. Personally, I don't like going to programs late, but if you tell me the program is 8 o'clock, I make sure I'm there either at 8 o'clock or just 7:45. Now, before the event, you get the opportunity to meet the organizers. For example, if it is at Hyperspace, you get the opportunity to meet the manager there, the people there, and then just, oh, hello, my name is that. They will welcome you and make you feel comfortable before everybody else comes. It will, by the time everybody else comes, you have been welcomed. You have felt a bit comfortable in that space, and then you move on from there. You can also do it one at a time. For example, you go to a first program, you just network with one person. Just take one person's number. Don't take many, one at a time. Gradually, we realize that you get out of that shell to be able to talk to other people that are there. The last thing is volunteer to get involved in some of these programs. You may not be a staff or you may not be fully part of the organization, but when you volunteer, for example, you see something like Amma Gideon, ask me anything, then you can find out, how can I volunteer? How can I help? That will help you to also connect with the people and know the right thing. And it will also take that shyness away. I hope I've made some little contribution.
Very clear.
Thank you.
Because I think
very,
if you don't
very
the conversation, you just keep quiet and then nobody will talk to you, and you're also not talking to anybody. So it's important to start the conversation and get to know people, and also like taking the step is really important.
Yeah, and I like the fact that you do not have to connect with everybody that is at the event.
Mm.
Connect with the one most relevant person to you. Probably I can add, how many of us here on the call have taken complimentary cards from people that we never called? And maybe some month or days later, we even pick the credit, the card, and then you look at it and you're even trying to remember who that belongs to, who was that, and you can't even remember. You see? So taking so many cards and trying to connect with everybody at the time, it doesn't help. So like Rita said, just find one person that you feel will be relevant to your development. Connect with that person and make sure that you grow that relationship.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dev can talk. Your hand is up. You can unmute yourself.
Okay, thank you very much. I think I've really enjoyed this session.
Thank you.
So mine has to do with gender balance in your core team. You found this. You spoke about yourself and Albert. I want to know, how does the gender imbalance affect your line of this duty, and does it have some advantages and disadvantages? I would like to know.
Oh, okay. Gender lines is very important, and I think that's what all of us are talking about nowadays. So even now, it's not only about women empowerment, but it's also about empowering men that are not ready to take up certain responsibilities. From our end, even though it's the two of us plus one more friend that started Hyperspace and Hyperwork, if you look at our team, there are a number of women on our team. So On the side of hyperspace, we have pay, right? And so we have women also on our project, and our trainers, we have women on it. Our board, we have Rita on it, and Rita also as a trainer. In our communities, you see that there are women on it that are also supported, and these are also given the opportunity to also share their talents and everything. So it is important that we maintain that balance. And more specifically, even for the people that you focus on. And I think that's also something that we should all be intentional about, like people with disabilities, right? Also making that conscious effort to bring these ones on board and trying to support them and seeing what comes out of it.
Right, thank you very much. I really appreciate the answer.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
One last, not the last question, but I wish Albert was here to answer this question, because in lesson 41 of his book says stay in touch with your network. So how can we maintain such strong relationship with our connections and make sure that we are connecting with them, we are making sure there is always being relevant with them?
A very good example I'll give you is Rita.
Mm-hmm.
I think that you might be a witness.
Yeah.
Sometimes she just drops in at hyperspace and like, I haven't been here for a long time, passing by just to get updates. Okay. And that helps her to reconnect with us and giving us the opportunity to also connect with her. And then she gets to understand what is going on and so forth. That is very crucial. Okay. So it is important that, Rita, you need to blush, yeah. It is important that we follow up, okay? Just imagine, maybe, let me ask you, Maxwell, if you had some friends at primary school, and now you're in uni, and since you last left your primary school, you've never spoken to these people. Would you still call them friends?
Nope.
Yeah. But there might be people from your primary school that you are still in touch with.
Yeah.
And those people are part of your network.
Yeah.
And so find ways of connecting, right? Add that to your schedule and connect with people that are relevant to you and your agenda. And that's the only way to maintain that relationship.
Okay. This just came off head. Let me ask. When conversations, or let's say when you connect with someone and it becomes only single-sided, is it like, do you have to still continue with such network, or you just let it go?
That relationship will definitely die.
Yeah.
Because it should be a win-win.
Mm-hmm.
There should be benefits in it for all. It should be a balanced relationship. But if we bring in selfishness as a killer, then that relationship will not stand. It will definitely die out.
So it's
best. And Gideon, sometimes it becomes one-sided when the conversation sometimes is irrelevant. Mm-hmm. Imagine you ask of my number at a program, mm-hmm. I give it to you. Immediately after the first introduction, then subsequently they start sending you their church pastors stuff. Pastors preaching and those things. I mean, we are all Christians, we all go to church. But is that the reason why you wanted to connect with me? They keep sending you things that are irrelevant. So in order for you to be polite, you just keep quiet. As and when it comes, you delete them or you just shift them into the archive. So if the conversation is one-sided, check what you are talking about, what you are sending to the other person. Thank you.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah.
And it can be annoying.
Yeah.
And people overwhelm your inboxes with things that are not relevant. So
Sure.
I like the question that Rita asked. Is that the reason why you wanted to connect with me? There should be a reason, there should be a goal. And that should be maintained all throughout the relationship.
Yeah. Okay, thank you everyone. But last one, our final, we are ending. It's 6:05. So the last question is, what advice are you going to give to new people, or let's say new entrepreneurs, or people who are also trying to find people to connect with and network with? What advice can you also give it to these people as they are coming up?
Yeah, so I'll say that we are only limited by the ceiling that we place upon ourselves. And so don't place any ceiling. Be open-minded. Get to connect with different people. Remember that not everybody will stay on your journey with you. Those that become irrelevant to you on your journey, they will drop off. Those that you become irrelevant to them because of their different interests, they will also drop you off. That is normal. But for those that have common interest with you and are relevant to your life journey, work hard to grow that connection. And work hard not to make it one-sided, right? Have an objective, like Rita said. Make sure that you maintain that objective all throughout.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. And what now I would like to say, what I've learned so far is, when you go to an event, just don't just take the card and then just go, I'll call the person, or just take the contact. Like, after taking the contact, make sure you reach out to the person, call, meet the person, and then talk, share aspirations, interest areas, and then that's where the connection starts. And through
Do you
that,
know
you can
that?
make more
Do you know
connections.
that even WhatsApp now you can scan, right?
Yeah.
You don't even have to type the person's number. LinkedIn, you can scan.
Yeah.
So instead of requesting for cards, I'll just open my WhatsApp or my LinkedIn.
Scan.
I scan right there. I say, let's take a picture for memory aid, put it in there, share my profile, and then that becomes something that connects us all the time.
Yeah. Thank you very much, and thank you everyone for joining this evening's webinar. I am much grateful to all of you, and I've enjoyed the conversation very much. So, but before we go, I would like us to take a virtual selfie. So if you can all put on your camera so we can take a virtual selfie together. Yes. I think there are a lot of people has gone off, but if you want here, see if you can show your face. Yeah, it's not bad. So let me take one. All right. Last one. Yeah. Smile. Yes. I like your heart, Ma. Nice heart. Okay. Thank you, everyone.
All
It
right.
was an insightful section today. Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good
Bye-bye.
evening.
Sure.
Bye.